Hey guys, if you're on the market for a good value motherboard, then I think we may have a winner right here. It is Asus Prime B660M-A Wi-Fi D4. It has support for the whole Intel 12th Gen lineup, PCIe Gen 4 as well as DDR4 support. Let's check out why. Also, if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Before we get into the details of this particular board, I'd like to cover the latest chipsets on the Intel 12th Gen compatible motherboards. The first one is Z690, which is the absolute top of the line and the only one that has support for CPU overclocking. So if you intend to get K-series chips, you should really look at that. Then the next tier down is H670, which has slightly cut down USB port support as well as lack of CPU overclocking. This was most suitable for the higher end builds, where overclocking is not a priority but you intend to load up all the expansion slots. Then we have B660, which has half the DMI lanes, PCIe Gen 4 lanes, and 2/3 of PCIe Gen 3 lanes. There are some other limitations such as less USB and no PCIe RAID support. Lastly, we have H610, a motherboard with the absolute base configuration, which to be honest I would not recommend unless you don't need any performance. It only has half the memory channels and no memory overclocking, and that really affects performance. So why B660 then? This is pretty simple. Vast majority of people only need a single SSD drive, a single graphics card and fast networking, as well as a bunch of USB ports. With B660 you get all the latest features such as PCIe Gen 4 GPU and SSD as well as great connectivity. This together with memory overclocking and moderate pricing when compared to Z690 and H670 makes it a good deal. With this in mind, let's jump right in. This Asus Prime B660M Wi-Fi is an M80X size board for more compact builds. There is also a full-size B660 Plus with similar feature set. This particular version supports DDR4 memory, and for now I recommend sticking with it, as you'll be able to achieve similar performance at much lower price. You can fit up to 4 sticks with speeds above 5 GHz and maximum capacity of 128 GB. There are 2 NVMe drive slots. Top one supports PCIe Gen 4, has included heatsink and is connected directly to the CPU for the maximum speed. The bottom one is connected via the chipset, but it still supports PCIe Gen 4 drives. Even though this board is really small, Asus still managed to fit 3 PCIe x16 slots. Top one is PCIe Gen 4 and is wired directly to the CPU with 16 lanes. The other 2 are PCIe Gen 3 and wired via the chipset using x4 and x1 interfaces respectively. With this setup, there is enough expansion to install graphics card, network card and possibly even a sound card, providing they are single slot height. On this particular board, there are 4 fan headers as well as 4 RGB headers, 3 of which are addressable. This is really surprising on this category of board, but it certainly will be very appreciated. Connectivity wise, we have single USB Type-C as well as 2 USB 3 expansions. These are all running at 5 gigabit speed and a bunch of USB 2.0 headers down at the bottom. It also has Wi-Fi 6 as well as 1 gigabit network. On the back, there are 2 HDMI and a single DisplayPort, 6 USB Type-A ports, 2 of which are 10 gigabit, the aforementioned Ethernet, Wi-Fi antenna connections as well as 3 audio jacks. As for anyone rocking that old school analog tech, there is also PS2 keyboard or mouse combo port. Overall, this motherboard has everything that most users would need with some extras for expansions. If you're on a budget, then you can't go wrong with this board, and any extra you have I would spend on higher end memory or graphics card. Since this motherboard supports PCIe Gen 4, you'll be okay with it for quite a few years without the need of upgrading. If you want to check out any of the items covered in this video, the links are in the description below. I hope you found it useful. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up and subscribe for more. And we'll see you guys in the next one.